Well, everybody, it's been really hot here in West Virginia and nasty, just a gross days outside. So I figured it was a pretty good time to do a tabletop unboxing video here in the cool air conditioning. Now, what are we looking at? Well, if you read the title of this video, you'd know we're taking a look at the Tisas PX-9 carry. This is a 9mm striker fired handgun, and I don't really have any experience with the PX-9 series. However, SDS Arms, who imports these, was nice enough to send this pistol over to us to bring you this video. I have shot the TSOS 9mm 1911 duty model before. I actually made a video on it when I first started the channel, and it did pretty well out at the range. I'm hoping that this does just as well as that did. But before we get started in looking at everything that comes in here, I'd like to ask you to headbutt that subscribe button to join the herd because I'm trying to get to 10,000 herd members before the end of 2025. Now, there won't be any shooting in this video. When we get a cool enough day, we're going to take this gun out to the range, shoot it with different types of ammo, full metal jacket, hollow point, different weights, see how accurate it is, see how it does on the plates, just like we do in any of our shooting videos. And we will have another video coming after that where we compare this to its closest competitor, which I feel is the Canik Mete MC9, the little subcompact carry-sized Canik. Now let's look at the hard case first. The hard plastic case, you've got two spots right here and here for a padlock, and it even has a folding carry handle. And then we have these two latches right here, which allows us to open up the case and find out that it is foam lined, cut out for everything. We see a manual lurking here behind the foam, a cleaning rod, and a cleaning brush. And then down here is where all the other goodies are. First up, though, we've got this paper here telling you how to use the trigger lock. And this trigger lock is all plastic. Would have been nice to see one with a little bit of metal in it. We got the pistol, holster, some back straps, side straps, and an extra magazine right here. We got this tagged. It says this is the PX-9 carry. It is in 9mm, includes holster and loader, has interchangeable back straps, and a 15+1 capacity. Now, I've taken these straps out of the plastic bags they come in, and it comes with a punch to remove the roll pin, so you can change out these two back straps. Looking at the back straps, we have a small one and a large one. The medium one comes installed on the pistol itself. And then we have two sets of side panels right here, or side straps. Now, the only other pistol that I know of off the top of my head with this feature is the VP9. If you know of another pistol where you can change out the side straps to customize the grip, please let me know down there in the comments section. Now, there is one more piece of grip customization, and we'll get to that here in a moment. In this baggie, you're going to find a metal plate. This gun is optics cut for the RMR footprint of optic. So you have a lot of options for red dots or green dots or whatever you want to put on this gun dot-wise. As long as it's an RMR footprint, you have a lot of options there. And this helps keep dirt, grime out of the optic from coming in from under the sides of the slide. And then, well, they're a little hard to see, but right here, we've got two extra fiber optic light pipes. We have a green one and a red one. It comes with a green one installed, so you have extra in case that falls out, and you have red that you can change it to if you don't like the green. Now, here's that extra piece of grip customization right here. This is a little flared magwell, and it's going to make your reloads a lot easier. However, this is a carry-oriented pistol, so you may or may not want to use this. However, this gun has about 27 different grip configurations when you're mixing and matching parts, so you can really customize it to fit your hand. Now we have a spare magazine here. The gun comes with one magazine inside of it from the factory, so you get two total magazines. The one in the gun has a flat base plate, and this magazine has an extended base plate on it. Right here, we have a round loader, a mag loader. And this is a lot like the ones that come with Glock pistols, just a basic plastic mag loader. The magazines are metal, which is a nice touch, and we have a 15 round capacity listed right here on the back. So you have the viewing holes, so you can tell just how many rounds are in your magazine. And these are made by Checkmate, which has a pretty good history on making magazines. Now, the thing about these magazines is SDS and Tisas claim that these magazines are compatible with the SIG 229 series of pistols. Now, I think that 226 magazines are also interchangeable with the 229, which would mean they are interchangeable in this pistol. Once again, if I've got that wrong, please let me know down in the comments section. But it does open up possibilities for having extra magazines. But here's what you've been wanting to see: the pistol in the holster. Of course, the gun is completely unloaded. So let's start with this holster. It does take a good bit of force to push that holster forwards and off of the gun. Now, it isn't a Kydex holster. It's an injection molded plastic holster, but it has good retention. And right here, we have an adjustable slot to allow us to give it forwards or rearwards. Can't when it's inside of your pants. And the clip, pretty firm, has a lot of tension, a lot of spring to it. So I think this would be a pretty usable holster until you got a more professionally made holster. But it's nice that they included it, and it's nicer than some holsters I've seen included with other handguns. So right here is the PX-9 carry, and we have that marked right here on top of the slide. Now, when I grip this gun, it feels pretty good in the hand. The grip to me feels a little bit big right now, even though it has the medium back strap here. And I'm usually not a fan of finger grooves, but this only has one finger hump, so I guess that's not that bad. Another thing I've noticed is the side panels here are rubberized. When I rub my thumb against them, there's a good bit of friction right there. So I don't think you're going to have a problem holding onto this gun. And these spare side straps are that same rubberized material. Now, the stippling on the back strap and the front strap, they are not rubberized. So they're just pretty good, but I do like this rubbery feeling right here. And then we have our mag release, our slide catch, and a takedown lever up front. Looking at the front of the gun right here, we have some serrations at the front of the trigger guard. If you shoot with your finger on the front of the trigger guard, it does give you some grip right there, and a Picatinny rail for all your lights and lasers and accessories. This trigger is a flat trigger with a red trigger shoe style safety right there. Now let's check out the mag release. And it shoots those magazines out of the gun fairly forcefully. I don't think you're going to have to worry about ripping this magazine out because it didn't come out of the firearm. Here's the back of that magazine. You can also see it's another 15 round capacity. The slide racks really smoothly on this gun, surprisingly smoothly for the price point that this pistol is at, and we will talk about that at the end of the video. Now, the slide finish on this gun is QPQ Tenifer. This has a 3.5-inch barrel. It's a 6.6-inch overall length, 5.35 inches in height, and it's 1.3 inches wide. Now that we're looking at the rear of the gun, we can see a little indicator right here letting us know that the striker is cocked. And of course, we have made sure the gun is safe. So let's dry fire it. Now that the cocker is decocked, or the striker is decocked, right here it is fully forwards and disappears. Now the striker is cocked and it is back to let us know that the gun could be fired if the trigger was pulled and it was loaded. Now when it comes to dry firing this pistol, the trigger feels pretty good. It is a straight style trigger. There's the reset. Reset again. There's not a lot of over travel on this trigger. It has a nice crisp break to it. Now let's talk about the slide features on this pistol. Front and rear serrations, and they are fairly aggressive to the point where if I just drag my thumb and finger across the serrations at the front without really applying much pressure at all, it is grabbing my finger and thumb, and you can see I can activate the slide back. So these serrations are very good serrations on there. Up front, we have a fiber optic green front sight right there, our RMR optics cut cover plate, and our rear sight is a blacked out style rear sight. On the right side of the gun, there are no controls. However, if you purchase the thumb safety version of this firearm, it does have an ambidextrous safety. However, any of the other controls are not ambidextrous, not available on the right side of this gun here. So there's really not much to look at on this side of the firearm. Oh, and we have this undercut right here on the bottom of the trigger guard to allow us to get a higher grip on it. So let's talk about taking this gun down for cleaning. It's very easy. Pull the slide to the rear, flip down the takedown lever, let the slide go forwards, and dry fire the weapon. You'll see the slide has moved forwards a little bit. Now that we can take the slide off of the frame, we can look at both of them right here. Further disassembly for cleaning is fairly straightforward on this pistol. Just push forwards a little bit on the recoil spring assembly right there, and you can lift it out of the gun. Then you can push up forwards and then lift the barrel out of the slide right there, like so. And now the gun is disassembled for cleaning or lubrication or whatever you need to do with it right there. Of course, reassembly is the opposite of disassembly. And then we can see that the internals on the frame are fairly polished. They're very smooth right here on the locking block assembly and back here on the ejector. It's very smooth. We'll slide this back together. So that's what's allowing this slide to glide so easily when I retract it, when I rack the slide. Very smooth and surprisingly smooth because this gun has an MSRP of just over 400 bucks. I was able to find a price online for this gun just over 300 bucks. So it is right there at a budget value at a very affordable price for someone who may be looking for a pistol for home defense or looking to purchase their first pistol. But as always, we need to make sure that this gun is reliable out on the range, and that's what's going to be coming in our next video when we actually get this out to shoot it. If you want to find out more about these pistols, because there's a whole line of these PX series pistols that Tisas has, you can go to www.tisasusa.com. You can also check out SDS Arms at www.sdsarms.com. And everybody, if you've made it this far, I really appreciate you watching my video. This has been another WV Guns and Goats video. And remember, if you're not out there having fun shooting, well, what are you doing?